Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Josh Epstein. I'm the marketing specialist for the tdaperks program. Perks connects members to professional and life resources, insurance options, money and time saving programs, CE resources, networking events, and more. So whether you're working within a DSO, private practice, or have a practice of your own, Perks has something for everyone at every stage of your career. In today's presentation, how healthy is your AR? We'll learn to discover best practices for creating a healthy aging plan for your accounts receivable. Our topics will include, what does a healthy AR look like? Optimizing your AR performance. So how to create a treatment plan for maintaining a healthy AR that can be consistent, repeatable, and easy to follow and manage. Our speaker today is Jeff Arnett. He's a district manager with longtime Perks vendor TekCollect. They've been endorsed by the TDA Perks program for over 15 years. So we can ask questions by typing your questions in the chat box right there. Jeff and I will make sure they get answered. So again, this is going to be recorded, so we will send this out if you miss anything. So Jeff, the floor is yours.
All right, wonderful. Well, we appreciate you jumping on board and being part of the meeting today. Again, like Josh said, my name is Jeff Arnett. I've been with TekCollect going on almost 2 decades now. So I've got a lot of experience with working with dental practices. That's my specialty and one of the specialties with TekCollect. So what we're going to talk about today is a little bit about how to identify a healthy AR. And one of the things is determining, is your AR healthy? Is it unhealthy? Well, in an aspect of creating the healthy AR, we have to know what a healthy AR looks like. We also have to understand what an unhealthy AR might look like as an example as well. So I'm going to change screens now and share a little bit of a particular new client to me that just came on board. And so their AR, when they first came on board, this is an example of potentially what a AR might look like if it's not as healthy as you want to be. So factors to look at when you're looking in your practice management software and you notice that in your current aging balances, those key performance indicators to strive for would be a healthy AR would have a higher percentage of their money sitting in the current column in your 30-day, your 30 to 60, your 60 to 90. And in an unhealthy AR situation, this practice in particular has more accounts sitting in their 90 plus outstanding balances from an AR standpoint than they do in their healthy AR. So when they're looking at their production every month and seeing that some of these patients that they're just now getting those EOBs back, they're sending statements, how do they respond? And so an unhealthy AR situation, in this situation here, as you can see, more than, or actually I should say less than 50% of their AR is sitting in this 30-day column. So those numbers to shoot for in looking for a healthy AR is you want this number here in your 30-day column to be the highest percentage of yours and your doctor's money. So in this situation, as you're looking, 14 accounts here, and you have 49 accounts at the 90-day plus, this particular practice was dealing with what they felt like was an unhealthy AR, and they wanted to try and create a better process for that. So those signs of a healthy AR is, are you getting your EOBs back quickly? In this situation, part of the process for this particular practice was their EOBs were taking longer than what they expected to come back to them. They had a lot of appeals, denials they had to deal with, but also they were getting their EOBs back longer than 30 days. It was taking more than just 2 weeks to 30 days to get their EOB. So that also progressively pulled their attention out to the 30 to 60 and 60 to 90. And so that's part of the reason why their AR was unhealthy at that time. I'll share an example now of a different practice. This particular practice, as they were working with somebody or as they put processes in place, they now have a healthy AR. So as you can see, their number here in the current column is a much healthier situation. They have a lot more accounts in their 30-day column, but as they're working through their AR, whether it be insurance receivables, getting those EOBs back, contacting patients about their responsible balance, now you can see it drops off dramatically from 81 patients here who owe money down to now 29 patients in their 30 to 60 day column. So now looking at the 60 to 90, as you can see, even more of these patients are responding positively, and they do have some outstanding balances here at 90 days plus, but it's a lot less patients here than it is at 81 in their 30-day column. So that's a better indicator of a healthy AR, is they have some accounts out here, and these could be even long-term treatment ortho patients that the reason why they're at 90 days may not be because they're necessarily past due, it's because it takes longer for that treatment. So critical information to think about when considering and looking at your AR and comparing your AR numbers to decide how do we create a healthy environment for our AR. In my opinion, and in almost 2 decades again of doing this, what I see is patients having the right expectation with your patient from the very front end. When you're creating a treatment plan for the health of their mouth and looking at, this is the treatment plan we've come up with for you that we feel is the right thing for your health, looking at also things that are captured on the front end. Some of those things might be, are you taking the vital information? Do you have a signed treatment plan when they've agreed to that treatment, having a signed treatment plan in place, having the right expectation with your patient from the very beginning. We expect insurance is going to pay a portion of your balance, but again, as we all know, that's an estimation. But based upon our experience of filing insurance with your particular insurance provider, we generally see that insurance is going to cover roughly about this much as an estimation. If you can also capture things like driver's license, date of birth, social, contact information for the patient, like their cell phone number, email address, other phone numbers, work or home, these are ways to progressively be able to contact and communicate with the patient if there's anything later at times that you need to speak with them about on their balances. So one of the things to consider, I always call them the 3 C's of collections. So when you're looking at your collections for your AR, things to consider, the 3 C's that I call them are communication. How effectively are you communicating with your patient? And how regularly are you communicating with your patient? And that comes to the second C, and that's consistency. Are you consistently contacting your patients, reaching out to them, connecting with them, whether that be daily, monthly, weekly? And then having control over the situation is the third C. So communication, consistency, and control. A lot of practices want to stay in control of their AR to help manage that AR and be more successful in creating the right environment for a healthy AR. Are patients responding positively to your efforts? So that's one thing to consider as well. Can you and your staff stay on top of every patient? Or would possibly you need help or support from, say, a third party? One of the things to consider as you're working through this and looking at your AR and tackling a streamlined process is, what is the true cost of you and your staff doing that work? Are you successfully able to communicate with patients on a daily basis, weekly basis, monthly basis? Do you and your staff have other things that many times then when I'm working with a practice, I see that the staff, the office manager, the AR, accounts receivable person has other tasks that they also do as far as for the doctor or for the practice as well. So you may not always be able to only solely concentrate on the AR, and that can take away time and energies away from being able to have a healthy AR as well. So looking at the true cost of what you're doing, are you able to stay on top by making phone calls, sending statements out, text messaging, any of those contacts, and are you able to do it consistently? So one of the things to consider is, as far as the true cost of what you're doing internally, the cost to the business and the cost to your doctor, and the work that you're able to do for maintaining a healthy AR. And then truly, what is your time worth? If you feel like you need help, support, that is obviously one of the things that TekCollect can do for you. we would come up with a plan of action for you and streamline your processes or help you to streamline processes. But it all starts again from my standpoint. I would always recommend the earlier that you can start and engage with your patient about their balances and your AR, the better off you are as well. So these are some of the key bullet points that we want to discuss today and talk about. As far as now, I wanted to be able to field any kind of questions that might be out there for anybody. Are there any questions in mind that I can help answer for what a
Yeah,
healthy
Jeff, it
AR?
looks like we have a couple here. So again, I appreciate the information. I know everyone does. So I have a couple questions that have come in. One is, so if my AR isn't healthy, how can I bring it back to health?
That's a great question. Okay, so bringing an unhealthy AR back to health again, we'll talk about the critical things. Some of those things might be, are you able to stay on top of your AR? That means focusing your efforts on what I consider the fresher accounts. If you're able to stay on top of your EOBs, that's the easiest and most successful way for anyone internally at a staff level to maintain a healthy AR by tackling the freshest accounts first. When you're able to file EOBs in a timely manner, get those EOBs back quickly, that also allows you to then communicate with your patient faster. And one of the most critical pieces of collecting any AR balances is early communication. The faster you're able to communicate with the patient there is a balance, and the more often that you can talk to them early versus later, then that will help you to create a healthy AR environment. Again, some of those things of creating a very successful and maintaining a healthy AR would be to be able to reach out, make phone calls, text message, email, inform the patient of their balance. That communication, if you can do it earlier in that first 30 days, 60 days, you will be more successful in creating a process where the patients now are able to respond to your efforts, communicate with you. If they have questions, you now are able to answer those questions successfully. And time is the critical piece of that. The faster that you can have communication with your patient, if they have a question, if they have for some reason they don't understand their EOB and what their insurance covered, now you can communicate that quickly. The longer that takes to have that communication with your patient, the more out of sight, out of mind. When it gets to 90 days or more past due, those patients, they've almost forgotten about the treatment that was performed. They feel healthy again. They feel great. You fixed their problem or issue. They may have come in for a broken tooth and you've corrected that. But now that if you allow it to get to 90 days or more when you're actually communicating with the patient, now it can be out of sight, out of mind until the next time they need to come back to your dentist. So if you can communicate that early on the front end at the 30, the 60 day or sooner, then that helps to maintain that communication with your patient and brings them back into the practice as well if you need to recall or if it hasn't corrected the issue. So again, the most critical piece of that is time. The faster and earlier you can communicate with your patient, the better your AR will be and the better your patients will respond to having past due balances with you. So that was a great question.
Yeah, we've got another one here too, and I know that's critical, but this is about, an important factors. So, Jeff, from your experience, what is the most important factor in maintaining healthy AR?
I believe the main important piece of that, again, goes back to time, but it's also about consistency. We all, in every practice, you're working with hundreds of patients and hundreds of treatments, possibly even thousands, depending on the size of your practice. So are you able to communicate consistently with your patient is a big key and critical component of that. Reaching out to patients consistently, again, whether that be weekly, if you're able to stay on top of your AR weekly by sending statements out weekly, sending out statements monthly. Every practice does a little different. In my experience, I've seen practices who are able to send out statements. They have a large AR, lots of patients that come in. So they might break up their alphabet, A through F this week, G through K next week, that sort of thing. And then if you have a little smaller practice where the production is easier to stay on top of and you're doing other tasks, I see a lot of practices who do it bi-monthly, a couple of times a month, or if worst case scenario, if you're only able to really tackle and maintain and look at your AR once a month, it's again that consistency of staying on top of your statements to make sure every patient gets that communication from you, if you can, in the form of sending statements monthly, as well. What we see in the day that we live in now, technology is key. So having the ability to communicate with your patients not only successfully through sending out statements that could be e-form statements, so maybe you're emailing statements, maybe you're still snail mailing statements, but not everybody responds to either effort. So it may take multiple ways to contact those patients, in the form of a written statement going out to them by snail mail, also text messaging, also emailing, and possibly making phone calls. So all of the above in that communication, the more consistent you can be with that, then the oftentimes the less you'll have in outstanding AR balances, because that consistent communication is that key critical element of maintaining a healthy AR. So, all right.
Okay, go ahead.
Go
Sorry.
ahead, Josh. I was going to say, any other questions out there right now?
I don't see any. Is there anything else you wanted to add? I am going to take back the screen here in just a second, but is there anything else that you wanted to add, Jeff?
Well, as far as again, TekCollect, we are a Perks program vendor. We have been for quite a while. We would love to help and serve any practices who have any issues or have any questions about their AR. Be happy to give you a consultation, absolutely no charge free, of course, to look at and talk to and see if we can help you in any way to support and serve you in the way of having and maintaining a healthy AR. So.
Awesome. And we really appreciate everything you do for TDA members. I've just put up your landing page here on the Perks website. So this is a good way to contact TekCollect and Jeff. You can contact them through this number here, and be sure to let them know you're a Perks partner. And you can go to their website at, tdaperks.com. On programs and under financial and real estate, you'll find this here. Again, this is the best way to get in touch with a TekCollect. I know that TDA meeting is right around the corner, so we're looking forward to that, and we're looking forward to seeing Jeff and his team there as well. I just wanted to share that. Jeff, thank you guys so much for doing this. And I don't see any more questions, so I think we'll wrap up.
Okay. All right. Thank you, Josh.
All right.
Appreciate
Thank
everybody
you.
who came on
Everyone
board.
have a great weekend.